Hey everyone, it's Pickles T2G. Today we're going to talk about the Welgun. It's the newest SMG that was added with the most recent 1.5 patch for Call of Duty Vanguard. You have to unlock the weapon one of two ways. You can do 15 matches where you get 10 aim down sight kills in the match, and that will unlock the gun for you. But you have to use an SMG, so you got to do 15 matches, 10 kills with an SMG while aiming down sight, and that will unlock it for you. And then you are free to level the gun as per usual. However, you can also buy the gun in the store. There is a particular pack that you can get that will come with a skin and a blueprint, much like any of the other blueprints, and you will immediately have access to the gun. And then once you've leveled it up and you've gotten through that same gate of 15 matches with 10 kills while aiming down sight in each match, you will then have the gun permanently unlocked anyways. So, we're going to talk about the Welgun. As you can see on my screen, I do have it gold. Yep, I know. I put a little time in on it. I love this gun. It is so much fun. It is so much better than anything else that's out there. The MP40 is good. I know everybody's kind of got their favorite one. This is my new favorite gun. And when they nerf shotguns, this will be the go-to gun. I've played with this a lot of different ways. First, I'm going to show you my build that I'm going to use probably the majority of the time. It just feels very good, very versatile. It's fast. It's got a high, really fast time to kill ratio on it. Very controllable, lots of stability, very reduced recoil, and you have really good range out of it. Then I'm going to show you a couple of things that I messed around with that I thought were really fun for certain situations if you want to get into it. And we're also going to talk about how do you get the gold gun. So first, let's get started with my preferred build. You can see it here on the screen, and I'm going to tell you why I've chosen each of these things as opposed to other options that are out there. Again, this is what works for me because I play a lot of different game types. I play some domination, I play some TDM, I do like hardpoint, but this build will keep you competitive, not only at close range, but also over mid-range distances as well. So let's go through it. The MERCURY silencer, the reason I went with the MERCURY silencer over everything else is because of the recoil control. Again, this comes back to making sure that the gun over distance actually stays pretty flat and it doesn't bounce around too much. I was using the recoil booster. I didn't find a massive difference between the two, truthfully. Slightly better control, but with the silencer, as you know, you won't show up on the minimap when you shoot unless somebody happens to be running radar where they can also see silenced weapon shot on the minimap. So, gives you a little more stealthy ability. I didn't find a huge difference between the two of them in terms of time to kill as well as, how the gun operated. So, I do like the suppressed weapon, so I've chosen to go with the silencer. I went back and forth on a number of barrels. I'm going to show you after this. I'm going to show you another build that I have that is super fun, but it doesn't do well at long distances. And I really struggled to decide if I wanted to go with the Wilkie Custom because it's just a little bit faster than the Shrouded barrel, but the Shrouded barrel just feels so good because it has some weight to it. It keeps the front end of the gun down, which allows for those longer range kills. And I'm going to show you how you can still keep the speed up on the gun so you have that really quick sprint to fire time and still have good aim down sight speed. Not as fast as if you were using the Wilkie, but with the Wilkie you lose a lot of accuracy and the gun just does bounce around a lot over range. Again, depending on your preference and your playstyle, you may find that the Wilkie Custom is the better way to go here. Would love to hear your thoughts on this, but I've chosen to go with the Shrouded barrel and then I've built around that. So it's predominantly the core piece and I've kind of built everything else to speed up my movement, speed up my sprint to fire speed and my aim down sight speed. As you can see, it says here, highly controllable and accurate, flinch resistance, reduced scope, sway and bob, and a larger one-hit kill area. I don't know how much the larger one-hit kill area actually matters because the gun kills so fast anyways. It hits really hard, as you can see by the firepower bar there near the bottom. But honestly, the weight of it makes it shoot really flat and straight all the time. So we're going to talk about what I did to speed it up so that I'm not like being really clunky and that slow aim down sight speed. So I went back and forth on the underbarrels quite a bit. When I was leveling, truth be told, until I got all these pieces unlocked at level 70, I was running the SMLE pistol grip for quite a while because it had that sprint to fire speed. It also has that hip fire accuracy. We'll talk more about that in the challenges for the camos. I even ran the hand stop for a little while, Honestly, because I've chosen the bigger barrel, the aim down sight speed just feels better on this. The Mark 6 Skeletal just feels better. It's quicker, it's a little faster, and it doesn't really sacrifice accuracy or the range or some of the other things that are on there. So I've chosen the Skeletal. Again, I've used quite a few different options. I feel like this one just with my playstyle, and I do like to run and gun as much as I do like to kill people at range. I just feel like this is a great option. Now, when you're leveling, it's obviously the .45 rounds are as you can see, the best firepower option that are out of these ammo types or these magazine types. However, because this gun has such a high rate of fire, I did find myself running out of ammo very frequently, especially when I was first leveling the gun. It wasn't until I actually unlocked fully loaded as a perk where it came with more ammo that I was really able to make use of this. So I had to use scavenger on my build, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I did find that I was running out of ammo very, very fast and constantly reloading. So as soon as I could, I actually went to the 9mm and then the 7.62 rounds. Again, I really just did it for leveling purposes to give me more rounds in the magazine, so I wasn't just constantly reloading on the time, and it did help me get through those challenges a little faster, get more kills, which leveled the gun faster, and ultimately got me to the larger magazine, the 48 round magazine for the .45 ammo. It just hits so hard. The fire rate is so high and the ammo hits so hard, it's the must go to. Now, I know some people like more control, they like to be able to shoot over longer ranges, maybe your thing's to be a little more stealthy and stay back and longer sight ranges. You probably don't want this then. You probably want to go to, truthfully, the 7.62 rounds for anything that if you're trying to do long range kills, things of that nature. But really, the .45 48 round mag is the way to go for the fastest kills. Okay, but as you can see, even though you get bullet range and velocity, you get bullet pound, you get the damage, you do sacrifice a lot of recoil control, aim down sight speed, and movement speed. You do move slower with this, and we're going to talk about why that matters. I did find that it felt like I was walking in quicksand until I made a couple of adjustments. I go with FMJ rounds usually. On my SMGs, I actually do occasionally like to use incendiary rounds because I don't do a lot of like shooting through walls with an SMG. It's not like an assault rifle or an LMG where I'm, constantly trying to wall bang and stuff all the time. I haven't played with this too much. I'm not sure that I would really notice a huge difference. Again, it's kind of personal preference. Maybe try it out and let me know what you think. I'll try it later on the stream after we go through some of this explanation. We'll see what we think. But for now, I've got the FMJs just for the bullet pen. So then that brings us to the grip. And now this really mattered because I took the bigger barrel, right? So some of you that have taken smaller barrels that already are fast and have a lot of recoil and they are harder to control, you may want to choose a different grip. But I've chosen the fabric grip because it increases the aim down sight speed, it increases that sprint to fire speed, and it gives me some fire recovery. For those of you that have chosen smart barrels, you may want to think about the polymer grip. I did run a couple different options as I was leveling up and doing some different things, like aim down sight speed with the leather grip. Did run the polymer grip for a while as well while I had the shorter barrels on it, just to keep that accuracy there. But because I've chosen the bigger barrel, I highly recommend the fabric grip on this because it just makes it so quick in your ability to shoot as soon as you get some target acquisition. Then I went with, and now this isn't the proficiencies here, I don't find a huge value in most of these. Some people run gung-ho because, as it says, you can fire while you're sprinting. So while you're doing your tactical sprint, you can shoot, and that can be super beneficial. Tactical sprint only lasts for so long, so I don't feel that I get the full value out of the same way that I would get it out of maybe some of the other options here. I did use Frenzy for a little while. That gave me that health regen after I got a kill. It makes me just live a little bit longer. But again, because I have that bigger weapon barrel and because I have a little bit heavier gun, and you do feel it with the bigger barrel, I've chosen to go with Fleet because it just increases my movement speed all the time. It does feel good. I feel like I'm not being slowed down at all, and I have lots of mobility while I'm sneaking up or trying to flank people with this gun. Fully loaded, I usually run fully loaded. I don't want to have to be thinking about or worrying about ammo all the time, or if somebody has an ammo box. I don't use the ammo box. We've talked about that. I use the dead drop or the cipher to save those kill streaks. But once you get fully loaded, you don't need to worry about ammo. And with the bigger magazine, you actually end up with almost 300 rounds that you can shoot, which is a lot because you could usually kill people with like 3 or 4 rounds out of this thing. So it gives you a lot of flexibility with ammo without having to think about it. And it did allow me, when I took fully loaded, to ultimately take lightweight instead of scavenger. I know I've mentioned I like to take scavenger quite often, but because I have fully loaded, I can take lightweight with this build, again increasing movement speed. So stacking those movement speed variables along, which ultimately makes me much faster and able to get around the map very quickly. All right, sorry, back into this. This I played with too, quite a bit. And in the end, because the main barrel is so heavy, it provides such a high level of accuracy with it, I actually just ultimately went with the removed stock at the end of the day. I did try the GAWAIN SKELETAL, which is good. It's not fast, but it is accurate. So again, for those of you that are trying to do long range kills or those long shot challenges for your camos, using the SKELETAL will be a really great way to bump up that accuracy. And it is lasers. It shoots laser beams across pretty much most of the maps. Very, very flat, very, very straight, even under sustained fire. The other options, I didn't really love any of the other options. I didn't really see a huge value. Now, that said, I did try a couple of them, especially when I was doing hipfire kills, but in the end, because of the bigger barrel that I've chosen, I really think the remove stock is the way to go here because it is just so fast. You don't need to worry about the recoil. The recoil is a non-issue if you have the bigger barrel and the other pieces that I've mentioned to you. So you could go with the removed stock and you can keep that sprint to fire speed, that additional movement speed again, so you are lightning fast, and you got that aim down sight speed. And then last but not least, your optic. Now, because this is an SMG and you usually shoot at close range, not all the time, I choose to just go with a basic reflector on it. Some people may even choose to do iron sights on it. That's okay. Either is fine. I wouldn't recommend putting a big scope on it. Maybe if you're trying to do the long shots. Ultimately, it was really, really easy to get long shots with this, and it was also really easy to get headshots. For some reason, I got more headshots with this gun faster than anything else. It is really, really highly accurate and quite enjoyable to use. Okay, that sums up my preferred build on the Welgun. Hopefully you found it helpful in terms of thinking about how to keep the gun accurate, keep that damage up, and make sure that you're moving really, really fast. If you want to know more about the Welgun and how I unlocked the gold camo, because we know that challenge is broken, check out part 2 of this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Give me a like, leave some comments. I'll try to respond to those if there's questions about the gun, and give me a follow for any future content. Have a great day.